Hey, this is Frank Yosa, broker owner of Frankly.com Real Estate, and you might have seen some of my videos and other blog posts about advocating and fighting for the client. And usually this deals with working with the client directly. But I now want to talk about something that I've been doing on the back end that is advocating for the client that people might not ever hear about. And it might seem silly at first, but to me it's an important issue. MRIS, the back end MLS system, the rule makers, the ones that dictate what the agent has to put in, what kind of data they have to put in on a listing, they've implemented a new rule that I object to. And that rule is that the listing agent needs to put the name of the buyer agent and make it publicly available to other agents, not to the public as in consumers, but to other agents, make available the name of the buyer agent. So for example, if you have a 10-20 contract bidding war, previously, no agent would be able to find out who's that buyer agent that beat me until after closing. Now they changed it so that right when you go under contract, you have to list the buyer agent's name. Now, might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. And I posted this on an internal blog post for agents discussion board, and I got about 20 different comments of examples of how this has been abused. For example, if there's a 20 contract bidding war, one of those other 19 might contact the winning buying agent and say, hey, what did you win for? Or, hey, can we buy your contract out from you? Give you $5,000 or $10,000. Basically, I maintain that it's none of their business. It's none of the business of other agents who the buyer agent is until after it closes. A deal's not done. There's so many things that can happen. We don't need someone to mess it up. We don't need, another example was, a listing agent contacted a buyer agent and said, hey, are you within your 3 days to rescind in your condo docs? What if you just buy our listing and we'll undercut the price by a couple grand and never have to put it on the MLS and take over that buyer agent? It's just private information that is not required. And I've instructed all of my agents to not put that information in. So now we have an issue where one agent, Bola Williams in Maryland, has gotten 2 fines now. I think it's totaling $300 or $400 in fines, and I maintain that I will pay those fines, and we will not, break our client's fiduciary duty. Now, why? There's 2 sides to every story. So why is this important to MRIS to list the buyer agent? Well, they claim that the listing broker needs to know. The buyer agent side, the buyer agent's broker likes to know when their buyer agents are under contract because they're finding out that buyer agents aren't submitting paperwork. So they wanted a system to be able to get alerts. But the way that the system's designed, it is available to all agents, not just to the buyer agent's broker. Now, they are changing it and it will be available mid to late July. And in the meantime, they said, oh, just appeal the fines. And I said, okay, fine, we'll go through these extra steps. And I figured they would just drop the fine because they're changing the rules. But no, they just sent me an email saying, unless you change it to the buyer agent's name, we will continue to fine you. So we're not doing that. We're going to continue to pay the fines if necessary, take it to the press, take it to the blog. And if you think that this is important, email David Sharon, CEO of MRIS, or Michelle Yam at MRIS, and let them know that you don't want your agent disclosing this. And so let's say you're deciding between agents. If we're advocating for something as small as this, please know that this is only one out of the 10-20 things that we do that no other agents do. This is completely unique to us. And you tell me, do you think it's important whether the buyer agent is disclosed before closing? If you had a listing, would you want to risk that information being out there so that other agents can take advantage of that? I don't see why. I actually think it's a breach of our fiduciary duty. So I'll still be advocating for that. Please add in your comments whether, hey, am I overreacting? Is this something that you would care about? If you were the buyer, would you want your buyer agent's name listed on there? All that stuff. All right, thanks a lot. So again, blog.franklyrealty.com, or you can email me directly. People often say, oh, well, he's too busy, so I'm not going to take a chance. And whenever they do, they email me. Sometimes they get responses within a couple minutes, and they're like, wow, I thought you were too busy. for people. So just my direct email is frank@frankly.com, FRANKLY.com. All right, thanks a lot.